Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we are exploring something absolutely fascinating, the very foundation of the Buddhist spirit. We're going to take some incredibly profound, ancient wisdom and break it down into a highly practical, genuinely useful framework for your everyday life.
So, let's dive right into our primary source material. We're looking at a text called The Challenge of Enlightenment, and specifically, we're focusing on a really monumental lecture given on November 23, 1992, titled What is the Buddhist Spirit? And you know what's so cool about this text? It takes teachings that are literally over 2.5 millennia old, and instead of framing them as these mystical, hard-to-grasp theories, it presents them as a practical, step-by-step diagnostic tool for the human condition.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover 1. The first sermon, 2. The middle way, 3. Diagnosing human suffering, 4. The cure for suffering, 5. The Eightfold Path, and lastly, number 6. Limitless perfection.
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, the first sermon, Shakyamuni Buddha at Sarnath.
To really understand this, we need to travel back over 2,500 years to a place called Sarnath in India. This is where Shakyamuni Buddha, who had just attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, delivered his very first teachings to 5 former companions. This exact moment, it's known as the first turning of the wheel of Dharma. Now, in ancient art, people were actually too reverent to draw the Buddha's physical form, so they would just draw a large wooden wheel beneath a tree. And that's absolutely crucial, because it shows that the Buddha's true essence isn't just a physical person. It's the teaching itself. It's like a massive wheel starting to turn, setting these fundamental truths into motion and rolling them out into the world.
Moving right along to Section 2, the middle way, the perfect balance.
Okay, so to understand what the middle way actually is, we first have to look at what it's not. On one side, you have extreme asceticism. This is actually the path the Buddha himself tried and eventually abandoned. We're talking starving yourself to the bone, severely punishing the physical body in the hopes of finding spiritual purity. The text is super clear on this. Ruining your body, definitely not the answer. But then, on the entirely opposite end of the spectrum, we have extreme hedonism, pure pleasure-seeking, just completely losing yourself in worldly desires. The Buddha realized that neither of these extremes leads to true spiritual development. Our source text offers this beautiful, perfectly simple metaphor to explain the solution. Think of a stringed instrument like a kato or a lute. If you pull that string way too tight, which is like extreme asceticism, it's going to snap. But if you leave it completely loose, like extreme hedonism, it won't make a single sound. The middle way isn't about having zero tension in your life, it's about finding that exact, perfect, moderate tension so your soul can play a beautiful melody.
Which brings us to Section 3, Diagnosing Human Suffering, the Four Noble Truths.
The text frames these 4 noble truths incredibly clearly. Honestly, it's like a timeless medical protocol. Step 1 is recognizing the symptoms. Suffering exists. Step 2 is the diagnosis. There is a root cause for the suffering. Step 3 is the prognosis. It can actually be cured or extinguished. And Step 4 is the prescription, the practical path to treat it. Now, when the text says life is suffering, you might instantly think of grand, tragic events, but the source material uses highly relatable modern examples. It points out that suffering can be as simple and as frustrating as catching a really bad cold. Why did you catch a cold? Well, maybe you walked out into the freezing snow without wearing a coat, just totally ignoring the reality of the weather. Suffering is basically the friction that happens when our personal illusions clash with reality. So pause for a second. Think about your own life. What are the persistent frustrations or colds that you keep catching?
All right, Section 4, the cure for suffering.
The absolute crucial point in finding any cure is correctly identifying the root cause, right? Well, the text explicitly identifies the pathogens causing our illness. Human suffering is based on spiritual ignorance, and this usually shows up as greed, fiercely wanting things we probably shouldn't have, and anger, lashing out the second things don't go our way. We suffer because we are living under the massive delusion that we can just force the world to bend to our own selfish desires. Simply recognizing that fact, that's half the cure right there.
Now for Section 5, the Eightfold Path, the treatment regimen.
Just knowing the disease isn't enough. We actually have to take the medicine. And that brings us to the actual treatment regimen prescribed by the Buddha. The Eightfold Path is basically a deeply practical checklist for daily living. It starts with right view, seeing the world not just with your physical eyes, but with a spiritual perspective. Then comes right thought, actively clearing your mind of that greed and anger we talked about. Right speech reminds us of the massive damage our words can do. Right effort is all about planting good seeds every single day. Then we apply right mindfulness to keep our intentions clear and right concentration to deeply center our minds. Add in right action and right livelihood, and together these 8 principles form the concrete, step-by-step method to enter and sustain the middle way.
And finally, Section 6, Limitless Perfection.
So why do we go through this rigorous process of diagnosing our pain and applying these 8 treatments? Because the Eightfold Path is not a one-time magical spell. It's a continuous, daily method of self-regulation. The text emphasizes that enlightenment isn't some finish line where you just pack up and stop growing. By continuously walking the middle way and practicing these 8 principles, you are stepping onto a path of limitless perfection. You are constantly tuning that kodo string, day after day, ensuring your life continues to play a beautiful, harmonious melody.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to really think about. Which string in your own life is currently pulled entirely too tight, causing you unnecessary suffering and stress? Or, conversely, where are you leaving things way too loose, failing to make a sound? How can you start applying the practical steps of the Eightfold Path today to find your own middle way? Thank you so much for joining me on this structured journey through the Buddhist spirit. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.